I'm Jagir. Today's video we're going to cover what is the blockchain. Now you may have heard of it, you've heard of Bitcoin, you've heard of crypto, but it's like, what is this thing? What's the noise about? I don't get it. It's so complicated. People are talking about proof of work, proof of stake, I don't know, SHA-256, like cryptography. What is it? Well, I'm going to cover that with you today in simple layman's terms. So by the end of today's video, you're going to be up to speed and confident to explain it to someone else. Yes, I promise you. I've worked hours to simplify this so it's simple for you so you can digest it, to get the kind of confidence that you need to get involved in this space. You might be wondering, who am I? Well, I'm Jagir. I'm the award-winning author of the book, The Extraordinary New Venture Capital Opportunity, How to Invest Like a Pro. And if you like today's lesson, hit the like button, subscribe, hit the bell notification, because I want to bring you these daily nuggets so it's simple for you to understand this beautiful space called crypto. I call it Cryptoland, where gravity doesn't exist because the returns you can make are insane, especially in current market conditions, if you know what you're doing. So let's dive straight in. So blockchain, what is it? So recording data, accounts, money has been a thing for pretty much all of human history, right? Back in the day, before our time, we used to carve it into stones, right, to record data. And then as paper got invented, there was an invention called paper at a time. I know we take it for granted today. And then it evolved into things called ledgers. Ledgers, massive books, and a ledger literally documenting insert of data, right? Different types of data, but often it would be monetary. And then we kind of evolved with the information age, technology, and then it evolved to things like spreadsheets and software where you can input data and delete data and so on and so forth, right? And we've always had that. So think of the blockchain as a ledger, right? But here's the innovation. Because traditionally, when you're inputting data into a book, you can CRUD. And CRUD stands for you can create new data, you can then read it, but you can also update it and delete it, right? Update and delete. Now, if you've got a spreadsheet and it's just a list of names, it's not that big a deal if you can update and delete. In fact, it's quite handy, right? It's quite handy that most people have, you can have multiple people have access and multiple people can update and delete, right? No problem whatsoever. However, when it comes to money, transfer of value, right? If me and you were person to person, I can give you cash and you can give me cash, peer to peer, no middleman. We can trust each other because we're giving this money to each other. But now that we're at a distance, you know, you might be in the UK, but you might be in the US, you might be somewhere on the planet that's not right here, not face to face. And we need to transfer money to one another, value to one another, right? We can't, not on a spreadsheet. Why? Because we can just add loads of zeros and delete a load of zeros. And we can become multi-gajillionaires or become broke just by updating and deleting. So that's not possible. So that's why we need centralized parties called banks or companies that are the trust between me and you. So we can have a bank account and we say, this is what we want to do. We trust them to make sure everything's up to date and then they send it over. So we've always needed this. But when it comes to the blockchain, it eliminates the need for a middle party of trust. Why? Because the code in the blockchain itself is the trust and it does things automatically. So now let's get our head around this, because this is huge, because then you'll see the innovation. The innovation is actually really simple. Like on a high level, it's really simple, but it's the first time in all of human history that this has been possible. That is important to know. First time in all of human history, this is the first time it's been possible to transfer monetary value or things of value without a middle party of trust. It's an absolute game changer. It's bigger than the evolution and the invention of the internet itself. So let's look at this. So now we go, right, blockchain is a ledger, but a ledger that you can't update or delete. You can only create and then read, and then that data is there forever. Doesn't matter if it's a government, a powerful CEO, the president of a country, a king or a queen of it could be the biggest forces of everyone on the planet, so to speak, trying to change. You can't change the data. Once it's fixed, it's fixed. That's what I want you to get your mind into. It's you create, you can read, but you can no longer update or delete, and that's powerful when it comes to money. because once we decide that that's the correct transaction, it's there and it's there forever. So think of it like this. So we have, it's called blockchain, right? Block. So we have a block, literally a block, and we're going to fill it with data, right? The data goes in, which is like a spreadsheet, like a ledger filled with information. And on the Bitcoin blockchain, it can hold up to 1 megabyte worth of data. And it takes around 10 minutes for that block to fill up with ledger entries, right? And then once it's full, like it takes approximately 10 minutes, it gets locked. The block closes, it gets confirmed, it's chained, so it's locked, and forever, you have to hold your peace. Whatever's in that block, the data that's been created can now be read, but can never be updated or deleted. That is a game changer. It's a revolution like you wouldn't believe, and it's the first time in all of human history this is now possible. Then what happens? You're probably wondering. Well, a new block is produced, and what happens then? Well, it's filled with data, ledger entries. Boom, 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 boom. Takes around 10 minutes, and after 10 minutes, once it's 1 megabyte on the Bitcoin blockchain, it gets locked and it's there forever. Right? So now you have a better understanding of what is the blockchain. The main thing to keep in mind is the first time in human history where we can trust something that's not a middleman, it's not a human based, it's based on code. So Bitcoin is just a code written, it's like literally mathematics, and it decides the rules and we trust the code. And it's done in a certain way that no one can change the data, they can't update the data, they can't delete the data. You can only create it and then you can only read it, and it's transparent for the world to see. Now what's happening, like with the internet, people are coming up with new use cases. So 20, 30 years ago, we wouldn't have probably imagined that there was going to be an Amazon, a Facebook, an Instagram, a WhatsApp, all these Netflix, etc. And people just found new ways of using the internet and are still being very innovative, disrupting, finding better ways of doing things. Now that the blockchain is eliminating the need for this middle party of trust, this, whether it's a bank, whether it's a lawyer, whether it's an accountant, it's becoming more efficient to do the thing itself. And that's the disruption, and that's the noise. That's why it's so like, wow. But the most exciting thing from an investor perspective is the world has yet to really recognize that this technology now not only exists, but is being used big time. This actually opens up the doors for you, because there's something called an S-curve in terms of technology evolution and adoption. And Bitcoin, crypto, blockchain is really at the early phases. And that's like the big time we can make great returns. So if you're interested in learning more about crypto, getting up to speed, especially from an investment perspective, I've actually created a crypto masterclass, how to fund your retirement. And I'll take you from the basic lessons of what's the blockchain, what is it really, where are we on this adoption cycle, all the way through to how you can get involved in investing in the space and doing proper risk management so you minimize your risk and maximize your upside. I'm Jigir. If you like today's video, hit the like button. I would appreciate it. Subscribe, hit the bell notification, because I'm going to bring you these daily nuggets and try and simplify this really complicated space, because there's a lot of jargon out there. But if you can get past the jargon and go, oh, blockchain is just a ledger. The innovation is you can just no longer delete or update the information once it's created. Now you get it. Yeah? See how powerful this is? All right, I'll see you in the next video.